When you're ready, Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben Whitham. This is my Introduction to Coaching PowerPoint. The topic we're going to be discussing is the determinants and behaviours of effective coaching in the context of meeting the needs of young people. Learning outcome 1. Demonstrate knowledge of the determinants of an effective coach. Learning outcome 2. Present, evaluate and interpret the principles of behaviour in current coaching practices. Learning outcome 3. Evaluate the needs of young people as they participate in sport. So I'm going to talk about learning outcome 1. What is a coach? Definition of a coach is someone who trains an athlete or performer. In my opinion, a coach is someone who gives their player or group direction in an attempt to improve them in a certain area. Philosophy. A coach's philosophy is their rules and guidelines that they follow in their sessions. Example of a coach's philosophy is John Whitham. He was an American basketball player and coach, and his philosophy is the pyramid of success. All the different building blocks are important for his players to reach, and once they reach all of them, they get competitive greatness. Positives of this philosophy are that I think it works well with elite performer athletes, as it's about competitive greatness, but if it was about participation level and about having fun, it wouldn't work as well. So that's where it could improve. Coaching philosophy. I think it's important for a coach to have a philosophy that gives them a coach direction and keeps his session on track. It helps you set clear learning paths for learners because you have something to follow. Positive of having one are that you have something to follow all the time. So if you're stuck and you don't know what to do, you can always fall back on your philosophy and base it on that. A negative of having one might be that if you have one like John Whitham's where it's sort of specific to sport and excellence, you might not be able to coach participation level as well with that philosophy. So that could impact negatively. I do not have a coaching philosophy. This is, I believe, a negative impact. But positive could be that it could make me more adaptable and maybe coach different age groups. Or I should really develop one that's a bit more well-rounded, so that it isn't just based on one. Leadership styles. The autocratic coaching style is about telling your participants what to do. This is a strict way of coaching. Positives are there is no time wasted discussing what activity to do. The impact of this is more time to do other things in the session. Negatives are the participants might not enjoy the activity that you have chosen, but it might sort of be better for them to improve them in a certain way. Democratic leadership style. The group as a whole chooses the activity. They have a vote or a discussion on what to do. Positive of this are the participants should enjoy the session more if they pick something they enjoy to do. Impact, the participants might be more motivated if they enjoy it better. Negatives are that the participants might choose an activity that they find fun, but it might not improve them as much as another one that would do, that the coach would pick out. Impact is it would have a positive impact on them if they're enjoying themselves, but a negative if on their playing sort of improving basis. I think that good coaches should be able to adapt their leadership style to their coaching depending on the age, ability and behaviour of the group that they're coaching. Leadership in my own sessions. Depending on who I'm coaching decides what leadership style I'm going to use. Example, I would use autocratic coaching style when coaching groups who are more likely to misbehave and on younger and performance groups. I would do this because if you allow groups that are likely to misbehave the choice of what to do, they might think that they can do what they want and it might run over into the actual session and you think they can sort of dictate what to do. So that would have a negative impact on the session if they could do that. I would use democratic leadership style with participants who are wanting to have fun and not as interested in improving. So an example of this would be when I was at the tennis centre, I was sort of help coaching older participants who were just there for the social aspect and not so bothered about improving. I think this is where it's more democratic, it's more appropriate. Definition of communication: the act or instance of communicating, the imparting or exchange of information, ideas or feelings. Having good communication is having a clear voice, being loud, good use of body language to help your explanations and demonstrations, and the ability to change your tone of voice depending on who you're coaching. So you talk differently to sort of a 6-year-old than a 30-year-old. Impact of good communication. So if you're coaching a group that's sort of misbehaved, you need to be able to sort of talk over them and tell them what to do. And being loud and clear means that everyone can hear you and you won't have to repeat yourself 3 or 4 times. So having bad communication could have a negative impact on the session, as they won't understand the skills or tactics you're trying to explain. Communication in my own session. Good points are clear voice and good use of body language when I'm demonstrating. Bad points are voice projection and tone of voice. Impacts on participants. Good body language will help sort of with my demonstrations if I'm showing them how to do something. Clear voice means that everyone should be able to hear me or understand what I'm saying. Negative impacts are voice projection, so if I'm coaching in the sports hall and there's noise in the background, maybe the people at the back won't be able to hear me, which is a negative, as I might have to repeat myself for them a few times. And tone of voice is also a negative for me, as I don't tend to change my tone of voice depending on how I'm coaching. When I'm coaching younger children, I should change it. Motivation. Definition of motivation: internal and external that stimulate desire and energy in people to be continually interested and committed to a job, role or subject, or to make an effort to attain a goal. What can affect motivation levels? Goal setting, rewards, desire to do something, achieving success, having fun, and improving skills. Our motivation can affect a coaching session. Participants are more determined and persistent, there's more effort if they're motivated to do something. Added concentration, and they'll be more engaged to what you're saying, meaning this will impact sort of what they understand. Intrinsic motivation. If you are intrinsic motivated, you are driven by rewards, such as praise, pride, and yourself. So, you're not motivated by winning trophies or anything like that. Positives are you'll be able to motivate yourself to do anything really. But negatives are that if you don't get that praise and you don't do that well, then you might become demotivated, and that would have a negative impact on your session. Extrinsic motivation. This is where you're motivated by things such as money, trophies, and rewards. Positives are if you was an elite performer athlete, there's going to be a lot of these to sort of motivate you. You're going to be motivated if you're elite performer. Then there's going to be like trophies and stuff to motivate you to do things. Negatives are that if you weren't elite and you were sort of Sunday League football player, there isn't going to be them extrinsic rewards to motivate you. So that would be a negative impact for Sunday League sort of players, but for elite performance athletes it would be a positive impact. Motivation in my own session. How do I try and motivate participants in my own session? I try to be enthusiastic and give praise to participants. Positives of this are that intrinsically motivated people will become motivated by my sessions, but I don't have anything. A negative would be that I don't have things to motivate extrinsically motivated people. I could improve this by adding sort of rewards and goal setting to my sessions. This would mean that everyone could become motivated by my sessions, not just intrinsically motivated, which would be a positive impact. Preventive discipline. Preventive discipline is about being proactive and clearly explaining to your participants what is and what is not expected of them. Usually guidelines and rules are set in place, and if participants do not follow these rules and guidelines, they'll become punished. Positives of this are that they know what's expected of them right from the start of the session, but a negative would be that it takes time to go through all these rules and where you could be doing other things in your session. So that'd be a negative impact. Positive discipline. Positive discipline is instead of giving them a punishment for doing something wrong, you give them a goal or a target to aim for, It allows participants to change behaviour. Positives of this are you're not wasting time sort of giving the guidelines at the start of the session, so you're saving time. But negative would be that this might not work on all participants, as they might just keep misbehaving, they might not take sort of a goal or target as a punishment. Corrective discipline. Corrective discipline is if your participant does something wrong, give them a punishment so they know not to do it again. An example of this would be if one of your participants misbehaved, you would give them a timeout. Positive of this are that once they've been given this punishment, they know that if they do it again, they're going to get the punishment again. But a negative would be that they have to do something wrong before they get the punishment. They might not know what's expected of them. So that's a negative impact. Discipline is needed in coaching sessions because if you don't discipline your participants, the session will become sort of out of hand and everyone will be misbehaving if they don't get a punishment. Discipline in my own coaching session. In my coach session, I normally use corrective discipline, which is you punish participants for doing something wrong. I think how I could improve is by using different sort of discipline on different groups and different ages, which are more appropriate. Yeah. This would impact my session positively. Then outcome 3, fun and enjoyable. Evaluate the needs of young people as they participate in sport. Young people need their sport to be fun and enjoyable to keep them interested. This would impact the young people in a positive way as they are doing something they enjoy, but it could affect them in a negative way if the activity they enjoy might not be improving them in the best possible way. So that'd be a positive if they're enjoying themselves, but a negative as it might not be improving the best. They need it to be fun and enjoyable, so they want to do the sport. If it's not fun and enjoyable, they might become demotivated and they might not want to do it anymore and they might not keep going with the sport, so that'd be a negative impact. You could make your session more enjoyable by letting them choose what activity to do. So if they like the activity, they're going to pick to do it, so they're going to enjoy it more. Fit and active. Young people need their coaching session to be active. A sport that keeps you fit and active, like long distance running, it might not be very enjoyable to everyone, so they might become demotivated by that, but a positive would be that they're healthy, but a negative would be that they might not keep doing it if they don't enjoy it. They need to be fit and active and healthy for sort of muscle growth and brain stimulation. If they're not, if they don't do activity, they might be like hyperactive and they might not use energy. Socialising. Young people have to socialise and talk to other children whilst taking part in coaching sessions. It is important for young people to develop their communication skills and improve confidence by talking to other participants. Positive of this would be that they're developing the confidence skills and communication skills, and it might help teamwork. If they know how to talk to each other better, then it might help teamwork, but a negative would be that if you encourage them to socialise, then they might be more likely to misbehave in the session. So that would be a negative impact. They need to, my own session, I think this is somewhere I can improve, as I don't get my participants to socialise that well together. I don't ask them to talk to each other about things. Engaging. Young people need their coaching sessions to be engaging so they do not get bored. The more engaged someone is, the more they will understand it. So if you're explaining a skill, or if it's quite complex, then if they're not engaged, they might not get it, but if they're fully concentrated and engaged, they've got better understanding. This is a positive impact. In my own session, I do not try to talk very long at once. Don't talk to participants for 15 minutes at once, because they won't be engaged in what you're saying. And add variety. Don't do the same sort of skill session every time. If you keep mixing it up, they'll be more engaged as it's something new. Teamwork. Why is teamwork needed? Positive of teamwork are that you'll do better as a team working together. Everyone gets involved if you work as a team. Negative of teamwork is, I couldn't really think of any, but it might, including everyone in a team, So if you're playing a sport, a match, and you try to include everyone and some players aren't as good, then that might become negative. How you can develop teamwork? You could develop teamwork by adding skill drills like in football or basketball where everyone's got to touch the ball, so everyone's involved and not just a few players scoring. Teamwork is a life skill that is needed at work and at places like school and college, so it's something that they need to develop early on. It's something they need to develop. Respect for others, that's another thing that's needed from an early age, is when they get to school they need to be respectful to the teachers and their other classmates. Positive of respect for others are that everyone should be able to get on better in each session. There'll be better team morale if everyone's respectful to each other. Physical literacy. Physical literacy is young people learning and developing fundamental skills in sport. Physical literacy sets young people up to be good at sport as they grow. Fundamental skills are part of physical literacy. Why is physical literacy needed? Physical literacy shows young people that sport is important for physical development of a child. Positives of this are that it's getting children active at sport at an early age. It encourages them to do sport as they get older, and it helps them behave healthier. Negatives of physical literacy are that it might be a bit too pushy, trying to get children to sort of forcing them to do it. Like there's some schools in sort of Canada where they sort of are forced to do these things like quite a lot of the time. So it could become negative. This is the physical literacy sort of table graph. Fundamental movement skills plus fundamental sport skills equals physical literacy, and then once you get physical literacy, there's two ways to go. There's either physically active for health and sport and excellence, and they both go together for active for life. Canada and another country, I think is it South Africa, use this as a sporting programme. Boundaries. Young people need boundaries to ensure that they are kept on track and do not misbehave in your sessions. If they do not have boundaries, then they'll be more likely to misbehave as they don't know the limits. And if they don't get punished, then they'll just keep going. If young people do not follow the boundaries, they'll be disciplined. So like that links back to the learn outcome 2 with the preventive discipline. Boundaries are how can they be used? They can be used sort of in 3 ways: sort of preventive, positive, and corrective discipline. It could be at the start of a session, someone could go through the rules and guidelines and what's acceptable of them.
Good, perfect. Thank you very much. Just ran a little bit over.